Hey, so I've come across this video on Threads and it immediately made me want to make a YouTube video about it. And this person actually made something a lot more complicated, and they deserve huge respect because they've put so much effort into it, and they've added hundreds of images that flicker on and off one after another. So as soon as I saw the video, I immediately knew how he made it. And people in the comments were asking, how do you make it? How do you make it? And I was like, I blew the lid and I wrote the comment how to make it, but I thought it's not enough, and the good thing is that you can recreate it in the free version of Davinci Resolve. So I kind of made this video to show you of how you can recreate that transition in Davinci Resolve, and I'll link the original video below as well. And if the original author did it some other way, please let me know how much of a newbie I am. And if there's a better way, more streamlined way, please don't hesitate to comment and let me know. So without further ado, come on into Davinci Resolve. So here I am in Davinci Resolve. I have here a simpler and a slightly more difficult version. What we have here is an adjustment layer at the top. The adjustment layer is to establish a grid by which we're going to have the margins for where the each image is going to appear in sequence. So we first have to establish the grid, and to do that we go into the toolbox and we create an adjustment layer and drag it on. And after we've dragged it on, we can go to Fusion and we can press Shift Spacebar and type grid, and it will appear as a grid layer. Now in the grid layer you can dial the grid however you want. I already have mine set, so this is for the straight grid margins that we're going to see in the image. Now the next thing that comes is that we have to have our images lined up, and depending on how many images you got, if you have say tens of images, you're going to have to create a track for each image. Don't worry about sound for now. So we're going to line up each image, and with the image we're going to remove the grid for now. We're going to access each image, each video to appear, and what's going to happen is in Fusion we have a rectangle tool applied to each of those sequences that appears. So the rectangle tool can be found here, and you have to create a rectangle tool and isolate the image however you like. You can see that I have them on each part of the sequence, and this rectangle tool I align to here. So the rectangle tool is a mask, and underneath that I have my main clip that serves as the backdrop for this. And again, it's a lot of manual control, and it plays out like this. I'm going to let it play out. 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 So this is the simpler version of how to make it, and again, it takes a lot of adjustment. You kind of have to finagle it and make sure it fits within the frames that you set over here. And you can make them thicker, you can make them thinner, you can make them however you want. Now, a slightly more complicated version is the one I'm going to show next. And it involves, instead of using a rectangle tool, I'm going to let it play. Instead of using a rectangle tool in Fusion, we are going to use a polygon tool, and we're going to draw the mask of the area that is affected and it is not going to show. Now you can go crazy and you can use keyframes over here, these are little diamond icons, to go even further and have your preview drift or appear depending on how long your main clip is. But because these clips that I've shot are not that long, and I'm doing it for demonstration purposes, I'm not going to do this for now. But you can play it out and see how it works out. So yeah, you can go completely crazy on this, or you can keep it fairly simple. But if there's a lot of clips, and of course it's there's a more streamlined way. Now another tip I have is, once you've got your sequence, to save space, what I would do is I would grab these clips, and so I would grab these clips and I will group them. I will create a compound clip, and I will say that this is the sequence 1, right? And now I've saved a bunch of space on my screen, and I don't need a 100-inch screen to be able to see everything and squint into my timeline. So you can label it even further by adding a color to it, provided you have a lot of them. And you can do crazy things. You can crossfade in and out. You can crossfade each and every one of them. So there's a lot of flexibility here that you can do. You can do this, right? With each clip, we're going to apply fade in, and it's going to look like that. Yeah. So crossfade as well at your heart's content. So this is it. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments of what you think is the best transition in the editing process that you've ever seen, that you want to see recreated. I want to be challenged. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.